I'd like to welcome in guest Jason Blissett to the show. Jason, how's it going?
It's going good. Another day, just chilling.
Yeah, definitely appreciate you doing this. There's a lot I'd like to get into. I guess just first off, how are you doing since you made your announcement to retire? What has things been like since that announcement?
Since the announcement, things have been less emotional than they've been the prior. I've been receiving a lot of support just from friends, family, just people who are concerned, fans, just people from all corners, just coming out just to say that they appreciate me, that they love me, that they're here for me, and that any way that they can help, that they're willing to do it. And that's not something I initially saw before making the video. I wasn't like, cause it's easy to think that people would just disappear after like, your dreams are crushed. So, but like that was just reassuring, and it was actually made like this whole process a little bit easier, like just to see those messages and see the love and stuff like that. Like it made me feel nice.
Yeah, and that's something that I initially saw when you posted your video, and obviously I think you did a great job, Jason, just explaining your situation and very heartfelt. And I felt like, fans that saw that and the reaction, it definitely felt like that. I know on the message boards on the story that I wrote that a lot of people showing their support, so that's great. What what was that like? Or what has that been like? Because that was one of the first things you had said, or one of the things you mentioned was just, you wanted people to stay in your corner and you felt like you had a lot of fans, and that was one of the reasons. But how did that make you feel that, you had that support or that a lot of people certainly reached out to you?
It just made me feel like I could be a normal person. Like it was like what I was doing was right, because the whole decision was really nerve wracking. Like I said before, it was a big decision for me. Like football, I've been playing for so long, so like I this just seemed like it was life changing. Like I didn't know how I was gonna turn out. I didn't know if I didn't know what route I was gonna head down. But like just seeing those messages, receiving that support, like it made me people just all giving me ideas of routes I can go down. People seeing certain talents and certain qualities in me, which would put me in different respective fields and stuff like that. And it just was like, wow, like I really have a lot of options, and it was like it's okay to be a normal person, and it just made me feel more free. Like it's a huge weight lifted off my shoulders when it's like a whole lot of pressure lifted off, a whole lot of pressure just leaves your head. So I've been my head has been doing better in comparison. I think because of my emotions. I know emotion has a lot to do with it. Like your brain's a very powerful muscle. So I've been in a better mood than I have been. So and it's just been things are looking up.
And certainly good to hear. And I assume, maybe it fluctuates with things like that. But one of the things that you said was, you considered it the craziest weeks of your life, coming up to that decision and things maybe you're going through. Can you maybe talk about what things were like leading up to the decision, the process that you kind of went through, and essentially just, I assume it's been kind of long standing. Just what has this process been like? How did you get to this point for your announcement?
So we can take it as far back as high school when I had my first concussion my freshman year, and I wasn't really like I didn't really know what a concussion was. I knew it was an injury. I knew I couldn't play in a couple games. I didn't know the gravity of how I would turn out, like if these kept adding up. So I got my first one. Then by the time I left high school, I had three. My high school senior project is a project that we work on to the back end of our senior year, just to as a presentation to see whether you pretty much graduate. I did a project on CTE and concussions, and that's when I really started to like gain a lot of knowledge about, wow, like okay, concussions is actually pretty serious, and it's actually prevalent in a lot of sports. So that's when I started to keep track of my history with concussions and really start to pay attention to the things that's happening to me. So coming into college, I got one going into the bowl game. Yeah, going into the bowl game against I forgot who we played. I'm sorry, it skips my
Yeah, that
mind.
first. Yeah, that first.
But yeah, going into the bowl game, I got a concussion during practice, and that it ruled me out. That was a bad one. That was like kind of rung my head a little bit. My symptoms were a little worse. I was feeling more dizzy than I ever felt during another concussion. Then I got another one later down the line, and then so take you to the most recent one, which led up to the video. This most recent one, I took a hit again in the University of North Carolina. It was an end zone play. Running back, respect to those guys. Those guys are really, really good bowlers. Both of them are gonna have bright futures. He ran me over. It was like a goal line stop. It felt kind of good about it, but he kind of ran me over, and my head took a lot of impact. And every time I get hit, it's like okay, it's like I got hit, my bell is rung. But that time it was like this feels crazy. Like I don't know, like because for a minute you could probably see it in the film. I sit on the ground for a little while and I'm dazed and I'm just on the floor, like where am I at? Like what's going on? And I'm just like I didn't know what hit me. I was just dazed and confused. So I got to the sideline and I started I did so I didn't I told him I couldn't go back in, and I just broke down like in the tent, just crying in tears because I don't like it's like I love football and just to be told now I can't like, not to be able to go play. It's like any player would just you see it all the time. They get really upset when they can't touch the field. So I went through my emotional experience, and then since then they've held me out of they held me out of everything. I didn't do any contact, anything didn't work out, anything like that. And I was still feeling my symptoms and stuff like that. So it got me into a headspace where it was like, I'm watching film and stuff like that. I'm like, I don't know how much more of these hits I can take. Like football, if I were for where I want to go, I got what 3+ years left in college, and then as long as I wanted to play in the NFL, if God willing. And that's I don't know, like all it takes is one play for a nasty hit, one wrong hit, like and it's really like really really bad for me because that's six for me now. So coming back after our break, we started working out, and I wasn't feeling good. I just like it was a lot of pressures in my head, just like, am I gonna make it through the lift? Like I would go look at the board, like well, I don't know if I could do this. Like it's like and it's easy stuff. I'm a great lifter. I would feel like anybody who knows me as a lifter, I'm a really hard worker. I think I practice good form. I think I'm a strong guy. I'm explosive, and it's just like it would be surprised for me to tell you that I'm worried about a lift. But like I'm looking at the board and it's like I don't know like where my head's gonna start spinning. I'll just get to start working out and stuff like that. I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling dizzy. I can't really I'm things are starting to shift. Like it's like I'm just feeling crazy. I don't feel right, and it was just overwhelming. And then I just kept I couldn't finish a workout. My first couple workouts I finished. I got to the end of it, but I felt terrible. By the next couple workouts, I was just like, I can't do this no more. Like, and the medical guys were with me the whole way. Like they monitored me. They left it up to me. If I told them I could keep going, I would keep going. Like I would let them know, they would make it clear that their safety was their main priority. My safety was their main priority. So I was working out, and a couple workouts later, it was just like I can't do this. It's getting worse. Like it's even simpler stuff is giving me problems. So it was my final workout. I was just like, it was a couple sprints, and I just felt like the world was falling. And I had to walk off the field, and that at that moment, just from the trip from the field to the medical room to tell the trainer that maybe it was time to actually hang the cleats up, it just felt like I just felt like a loser. Like I just felt beneath the ground. Like I didn't know what was next for me. I was just angry, sad. I was feel like I was letting people down, and it was just a lot to take in all at once. And I broke down in tears after I told Vinny Scavo, the head medical trainer, and he said, listen, like it sucks for everybody. It's tough for everybody. They're still here for me every step of the way. They're still taking care of me now. They're getting me the help I need as far as my head situation. And but like just after that day, just a week leading up to the video, it was just I was just low. Like it was just like I didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to go anywhere. I didn't want to talk to anybody. People were reaching out to me. It was hard to like just answer phone calls. I was just in a shell. I didn't want to come out my room, and I just you just feel defeated. Like you don't know what's next for you. And then a point hit me. I just was like, if I'm feeling this way, I know somebody else got to be feeling this way. Like this isn't. I'm not the only person this has happened to. This can't be the first time, and it won't be the last. And so, being the person that I am, I just wanted to make the video to just reach a couple of kids. Like I only really expected 20, 30 kids to see the video, like friends of mine in high school and college, like just to just to tell them about my experience. I didn't see it attaining that much of many views, many likes, that many people seeing it. I didn't see this happening. I didn't see any of this. I was just trying to tell my story, and I just wanted my voice to be heard. I just wanted people to know what's real about football because it's like it looks pretty. It really looks beautiful on the outside, like we see it on TV, and all the lights is shining, and it's like wow, that looks like a dream. But the things that players live with, it's really tough. And I know I'm not the only one, probably even on my team, who probably goes through what I go through. So it's like just to hear me say it, I know people have reached out to me how it's impacted them. I'm just glad that that was enough for me, just to people to say that I've touched them in some way, and that was all I really wanted.
And I think, Jason, I mean, there's just so much. I just appreciate you telling your story. And like you said, others, certainly other people dealing with this, but the things that kind of stand out to maybe things you're talking about. And one of the things, just to be clear, like it probably felt like your toughness might be a little, I don't know about question is the right word, because you're, as a football player, as an athlete, you're so in tune to working through whatever struggles that might be, especially your position, the constant contact and the toughness that it takes to even play that position, let alone play it well. And I think, going through what you've been going through, maybe that was something that kind of strikes me as maybe you're like worried about that, but I don't think there's any question how tough you are. You've proven that throughout your career, just to get to this point and things you've been able to do on the field. So hopefully that's not something you're even questioning or even thinking about there. And, for an athlete trying to push through things, I'm sure that's just what you're so accustomed to doing. And like you said, you've dealt with this before and you've essentially overcome it, or at least um, pushed on to the next play, to the next game, whenever you are cleared to go. And to hear your story and how you've been able to, you know, get to this point of like it's just a different setting and you kind of looking ahead to your future. I think that's I certainly imagine that's been very difficult for you. Um, what, in thinking about things, Jason, you've touched on it a few times about wanting to tell your story, and that's important to you because not everybody does that, and certainly it could have just came out that you just weren't going to play and whatever. But why was why is it important to you to talk about some of these things that other players might be going through that aren't talked about? What you've said that there are things underneath the sport of football in particular that aren't talked about. Why is it important to you, and why is it important to you to hopefully reach out to others?
So in my experience, the people that I played football with, aside from probably even in high school in the beginning with the Jordan Scholar program, which is orchestrated by my head coach Dino Mangiero and assistant head coach Lance Bennett, who brought in who gave scholarships to athletic kids who to come play football at the school, and so in my experience, I've always been surrounded by people with similar stories, like underprivileged, like their zone high school, the graduation rate is like below 60%. Like it's like just in impoverished situations, and it's just like stressful households, and it's just like a lot of stress in family and stuff like that. And so I was just meeting a lot of those people, and that's what kept coming back to me during that week where I was just at my lowest. Like there's people like me. So when you have people like you and you're feeling what you're feeling, it's not talked about enough that football players like me, we do it for something bigger than ourselves. Like for us, we want to help our family get to a better place. Like we see our parents struggle. You see your parents work 3 jobs and come home and still cook and clean for you and do everything that you need to do just so that you can go to school every day. It's like things that seem like a big problem to most people, they seem smaller. It's like because you're working for something bigger. Like it's like when that's something that you dream about and something you want, you won't let anything stop you. So during my process, mind you, I had 6 concussions. So people knew about my head history. They would tell me, man, like, why do you keep going? Like, you know what's gonna happen to you. Like, there's a whole bunch of, it's no secret, Alzheimer's, dementia, all that stuff, just brain damage, all that stuff in the future. Like, don't you want to be healthy in the future? But it's like, yeah, that sounds good and all, but like, football's provided me with a passion and an outlet that I didn't have anywhere else. I'm, mind you, underprivileged situation. Football, I felt like free on the field. Like you can't take football away from me. Like that's me. I feel like a god on the field. Like you don't think about nothing. It's just you and your brothers on the field just going after it. And that I love that. And it was gonna provide me with an opportunity to just put my mother and my father in a better place and all my siblings and stuff like that. It's like I'm a role model to them too. So I just felt like I had to finish through it because I just wanted That's just the person I had to be for them. So I just couldn't quit. I couldn't allow myself to stop. And that's the same way a lot of these players feel. Like it's not even for themselves. They're doing it for something bigger than themselves. And that's a great way to feel. That's a strong quality to have. It produces so much hard work and determination. And it's providing me with the drive and the motor that I carry on the field. It's like, it just puts off, like kids who have that have a fire in them and it just shows on the field. So when that got taken away from me, that's probably why I was at my lowest. You feel like you let so many people down. You feel like it's like all this that you had planned is like because you're forced to put all your eggs on this one basket. You're told you're great your whole career. Like you see so much happening for you. You see like coaches talking to you, telling you how great you're gonna be and stuff like that. And it's like you thinking this is gonna be it, and then it just doesn't happen, and it just sucks. So a lot of kids are gonna feel like a lot of kids feel that way, and they feel like they can't quit, but after making the video and having people talk to me, it just makes you feel like it's okay to be a normal person. And they don't get that. They hear it and it goes in through one ear and out the other. And it even happened for me. It still happens to me now, but like it's it's okay to be normal. And it's like it's okay not to be an athlete. Like that's a really hard lifestyle to live. It could commend the people who can do it. But it's not for everybody, and it's like that. And the fact that it's not for you isn't necessarily a bad thing. It's a health issue. It's whatever. It's maybe you're not happy doing it. You should do something you're happy about. A lot of kids who play football don't even like the sport. Like they do it because they see money in it. They don't even care for anything else outside of it. And I just think that people should find their passion because it's like a lot of the emotions that I feel and the way and a lot of the the sadness that came around this whole situation all stems from the fact that I didn't know what else I wanted to do really. So like just find another passion that you like that you really care about. Like some I know a lot of artists like music, like drawers, like everything, like fashion designers, just people who are talented in so many different areas and don't if they actually pursued it and provided the structure and the craft that football came with and they put it into that, they could be the most brilliant minds like ever. And it's like they don't do it because they feel like football's all they got. So I just want to tell my story to make them feel like it's okay. And you'll probably see more people actually putting football down, and because it's a dangerous sport, it's very dangerous, it's very harmful. I love it definitely. Like as you see, I still cry talking about it. Like it hurts to let it go, but it's like it's very dangerous, and that's what's real. And it's like and it's not for long. So and you see kid players go bankrupt too. It's like it's just getting there is just only half the battle. You got to stay there, you got to manage your money right. A lot of kids don't have the money management skills that they learn in college and stuff like that. They're just used to being athletes on the field and they're not educated on that stuff either. It's just a lot of stuff under the surface that doesn't come to light. And it's just all it is just glitz and glamour. It's like everybody just sees the touchdowns and the shaky moves and stuff like that. But what are they doing when they go home? Like, what's their family situations like? It's like a lot of us, even financially, like we pay rent and stuff like that, but like we still have lives to live and stuff like that. Like we still have a social life, of education, like we still have bills to pay, we have stresses and all that on top of the fact that we have to get an education and be an athlete all in. It's like it's a lot of pressure for one person to take on. And so that's why you hear it talked about every day. Like it's football players, any athlete is a different kind of person. It takes a different kind of person to be any kind of athlete. But football players specifically, I think that it takes a different kind of person to be a football player as well.
And no question. And Jason, I hope you know, regardless of your career ending shorter than you would have liked, you've certainly made it already, and you'll continue to make it just with your mentality and whatever you choose to do next. You know, you're going to make it and do well with whatever's next. It's interesting you mentioned how players that don't have that love for the game, and I think people would be a little surprised to know that. I remember covering players. You know, I remember hearing a story about that, and he plays it to play and doesn't really pay much attention to what else is going on or the landscape of maybe football or the NFL or college or the ACC, anything like that. And I thought that was interesting, just kind of a more of an eye-opening experience more than a surprise, if that makes sense. But anyways, Jason, you've touched on some of the like things moving forward, and you said you've had some talks with people. I don't know if there's anybody yet that's really touched you in terms of giving you a path or ways to look forward to things. And I'm kind of curious, just maybe right now, your mindset of what kind of is the process moving forward in terms of other things you're interested in. I remember when we sat down at media day when you first arrived, and you talked about you wanted to do well. I know you were excited and for your brand, and that was a comment that you mentioned. I've seen something from past interview that you were interested in maybe being a federal agent at one point in time. And I guess I'm just kind of curious what, with your studies, what your major is, what the plan is. Are you staying at UM? Just kind of maybe, and certainly a lot of things can change moving forward as you navigate through this. But kind of just your thoughts on maybe what your approach moving forward is now.
So Vinny Scavo and the head medical trainer and my coaching staff has promised to honor my scholarship. So I'm still going to be attending the University of Miami. I'm still on my scholarship and everything. And I'm still a criminal justice major with a minor in sports administration. And I'm just right now just focusing on school because I'm really into all my classes. Like I take a juvenile delinquency class and a social organization class that I'm really into and a theater class. I just love my classes. Like it's been a while since I've really been into my classes, like participating, engaged, and wanting to do back and forth conversation between students and teachers. And it's like it's just nice to be a student, like be a student again because I was a really good student and pretty much all my life, middle school, high school, I always got good grades, and it's just I felt like a good student again. So I'm focused on school. I wanted to be initially coming into college. I wanted to be a federal agent. I'm not sure how I feel about it now after doing some research. It's like seeing how much time they spend with their families and how private their lives are and stuff like that and how controlling it is. I'm not sure. It's still a route I may consider. I'm still keeping my major, so I'm just gonna. I like the criminal justice route with the opportunities it brings to me because I'm still interested in that kind of stuff. So I'm keeping my major and things like that. But the most appealing thing that's been brought up to me through my friends and family and things like that is the idea of coaching one day. I'm very knowledgeable about the game of football, and I feel like I communicate with people very well. Like I know how to talk to certain people. Like everybody's an individual. You can't talk to everybody the same, and not everybody understands everything the same. And I think I get that concept very well. And I feel like I'm very approachable to people and people my age, and I just know how to talk to them. And so and like I said, I know football very well. Jess Simpson, the D-line coach, our current D-line coach, he is a genius. And I've sat in a couple meetings like recently, and I was just like, man, I really can't. I'm so sad I can't play for this guy. Like he's gonna take that D-line room to a whole new level. And just so I'm taking in what he's taught me, Coach Todd Stroud, and just a bunch of different coaches and things like that. I've gained a lot of knowledge, and I know a lot about the defensive line position specifically. And I could feel like I can see myself doing that one day, just to stay around the game of football. I still have a strong passion for it, and I've been told that like coaches still get the same competitive drive that players get, like for game days and things like that, and just like you still feel like you're on the team, like you're still pumped, like you're on the team. So that's an appealing route. I like the idea of coaching one day. Collegiate level, high school level doesn't really matter to me as long as I'm around it. But I've been exploring my options, and probably coaching is probably the most appealing one.
Well, first off, just when you're hearing your excitement for your classes, I think that's great. And definitely, soak in as much information as you can with that. And, coaching, certainly, I think you'd be great at that too. I was kind of curious if we could go back a little bit into your high school days. If you had any good recruiting stories, doesn't matter if it was how Miami recruited you, another school, and then also, maybe people that didn't follow your career. If you have any quick stories about you playing running back that you remember, as a defensive tackle, you don't see many of those. But if you have anything like that, kind of looking back at your high school days there.
So actually, I played defensive end in high school. Coming to college playing defensive tackle was a very big change of pace. Um, I didn't play D tackle pretty much at all in high school, and it was an adjustment. It's a more power, more nitty gritty, and the D end is more finesse. So I was used to playing that. High school was so much fun, man. Like, so my 4 years, my first 2 years, we had the Jordan Scholar program, and it surrounded me with a lot of guys like myself. So being around them was fun. Like just being around a strong football team, a known football team at a very good, prestigious high school, and it was just it was nice to be there. And then the Jordan Scholar program shut down, and the guys started leaving. And by the end of my senior year, I was the only guy left, pretty much. And it was it was nice to be there. I was pretty much just focused on getting into college. It was a really long process trying to decide what school I wanted to go to. Initially, if you would have asked me my freshman year what school I was going to, I would have said Temple hands down because my dad is a Temple alum, my mom is a Temple alum, and to be honest with you, I didn't think I was. I thought I was a solid football player. I didn't think I was a. I didn't think I was gonna be this good, to be honest with you. So I saw myself going to Temple. I took my actually my first offer was Temple. I crushed it at a camp there. I just looked amazing. I guess I just killed it in the pass rush, and yeah, and I was excited. I was just like, I was so happy that my parents didn't have to pay for school. Like I was gonna go to college. Like, and it was just that alone. They told me that alone was just a victory in itself. Anything after that is just gravy. Like you can do anything is what they told me. So the offers rolled in, and honestly, I got a couple big offers, but once I took a trip, Coach Simpson came down and he was my recruiting coach initially from Miami, and he came down. He spoke to me. He didn't offer me, but he told me that he was interested in me coming to Paradise Camp, and it was Miami. And like I said, I don't know how I was gonna get there. My head coach made it happen, Coach Kevin Fontaine, and I love him for it. Like he was a very big help to me in high school. Him and my dad, like they pretty much guided me my whole way, and a lot of other people, just to name two people, but there was a lot of other help as well. But yeah, so I got to Miami, I got here, and it was just beautiful. Like it was like I think I came in like February or something like that. It was really cold in New York. It was snowing, and I got here, and like as I stepped off the plane, there was a crevice that lets a little air in, and I just felt like a gust of heat hit me. I was like, "Whoa!" I had a hoodie on. I was like, I was surprised. Like I was in Miami, and so I saw the my head coach's father-in-law picked me up. I went to South Beach. So everything beautiful, anything that you could think of that's in my South Beach, I saw it, and it was a nice time, and we ate good. It was just a great feeling. It felt warm, and I got to campus. I met all the guys. I met some players. I met the coaching staff. They were warm, welcoming. It was a beautiful campus. Like it felt like I was at a resort. I was gonna be going to school at a resort, and I've been to places before that. I've been to Minnesota and things, campuses like that, and Rutgers and Syracuse, and those are all great schools. They all have their great things, but when you get to Miami, you know it's Miami, and like it was just a beautiful feeling. And it was just they had the I was like I said, I'm a criminal justice major. They have a strong criminal justice program, and it just seemed like a perfect fit. Like I couldn't say no. So they after the camp, I got home. They offered me. They no after the camp, I flew down home. A couple days passed, but I want to say like 5 days passed. I'm in my room. I'm playing the game, and Coach Simpson calls me, and he's talking to me like he's telling me like he was proud of me for the camp, that I'm a very coachable kid and things like that. It was kind of the stuff you say when you're not about to offer somebody. And then he gave me the offer, and like my jaw dropped and like my eyes opened, and I was like, wow, like Miami just offered me. Like everyone knows Miami, like that's a big time offer, like for anybody. I don't care like if what kind of offers you have, you get a Miami offer, that's huge. So my heart was pounding. I didn't even hang up the phone with my coach, and I went to my dad, and my dad was excited, and he was just like I seen the biggest smile on his face, and like I don't remember like I remember I remember a lot from my childhood and stuff like that. You remember a lot of things that's spotty, of course, but like that smile that I seen on my dad's face, and then obviously my mom later on, like that you don't forget that. And I was just like, yeah, this is it for me. Like that said it for me. So it was just a great feeling. Also high school playing running back, because I know a lot of people like to hear about that story. Running back is by far one of the most fun positions on the field if you have like a good old line, of course. Like if you're not getting killed every time they touch the ball. It was like because I always been athletic in high school. Like I was always I could jump, I could run, and it was one time that we came back my senior year for a conditioning test. I was like just killing it. Like I looked fast. Like it was just like they didn't see me look that fast before, and we didn't. Our running back situation was iffy. And me and the offensive coordinator, Coach Kevin Burke, another great friend of mine, great guy. He's helped me along the way too. Lot of love for him. He was iffy about putting me at the position at first, but he said like screw it, let's just try it one time. They tried it in practice. I looked good, and then they tried it in a game, and I looked even better. Like I was just moving forward. Like I was bigger than. Obviously, it's no secret that it wasn't high level competition I played in. So when you see a kid like my size running the ball who's fast and big, like obviously he's gonna do well. So it was just as fun as you think it was. Just like feeling like a god on the field, like a created player, like just running people over, getting on defense, killing tackles, getting sacks. Like I felt like a superstar in high school, honestly. And it was a lot of publicity I was getting. It was like I was getting recruited, so the star rankings get up there, see articles about you. It feels good. It was a really nice process, and I think anybody would agree that how the recruiting process is long and it's like it's very the recruiting process is long and it's stressful because a lot of schools to pick from. Like honestly, I think the less offers you have, the easier the process is for you because it's like you get to narrow it down more. But like it's easy to pick the wrong school. I think the guys who, when they pick the right school, they know when it's right. They feel it. Like it's not anything you can say that unless you've been there. Like you have to go there. You have to feel it. You have to go into the dorm, feel the experience, go into the field, see how your hand feels on the field, get into your stance. Like how does it feel being there? And if you know when it's home. So, and that's the question people ask me. How did you know when Miami was right for you? Like you feel it. Like it's not anything that you can predict. Like so, it was a really I miss high school. High school, I think about it all the time. I still go back and watch my high school highlight tape. Like I think I put one of the best high school highlight tapes out in New York City, and I stand by that statement 100%. I One of the best highlight tapes in New York City for me. But it was fun, and I miss it, and I think about it all the time.
It sounds like you got had a great time. I was kind of curious about your, the not obviously not as many games you'd like, but just your 2 seasons at Miami. And last season, I just want to make sure everyone knows the playing time you got. Jason, you graded out really well when it comes to the analytics, Pro Football Focus. So when you were in there making plays, I remember the Florida State game. It just felt like when you were in there and you got your time, you were doing well. And I felt like, to me, you certainly were on the right trajectory. As a young player to watch for in the future. I was kind of curious, just maybe if you could summarize quickly about maybe your time at UM, your experience as a player.
So from the start of being at I think this is the same for any college football player. Like once again, very similar stories. I got to meet my strength coach, another loved one of mine. Like I love that man to death. He's welcome to my wedding, to everything. Like I love that Coach David Feely. He killed my class the first couple weeks there. Like, and they made me wake up on the edge of the bed. Like, do I really want to play this sport anymore? Like, just your body saw everything, and it's like, wow. But you get through it, and just being around the team that first season, we had a lot of great players. Shaquille Quarterman, just to name one guy, DJ Dallas, just a lot of great guys, like just around the field, and you see what you just as a freshman, for me at least, I want to soak in everything just to see how they go about things. Like what are they doing on the field? Like what's the ins and outs of being around campus and stuff like that. And being a player on the field and being a Hurricane just in Miami. And it was a great experience. Like my first semester was a lot of fun. Just I got to learn a lot more football than I did in previous years. A lot more just how it works, how cheats and play tricks and stuff like that to the game, recognizing formations to where the play is going and things like that. It was just really fun. It's like it's fast. It happens really quick. And then getting on the field the first time in Bethune Cookman, my freshman season, that was probably one of the most. It was dull, but it was very exciting at the same time because me being on the field is just, it's like I like to just think of it as another game and things like that. Like it's just another game. Just do what you do, have fun, be yourself. Regardless, you're you. That's how I like to think about it. But like you're in Hard Rock and you see the fans, you see everybody going crazy, and you see your teammates on the sideline just like in tune to everything that's going on. You feel the energy, and it was just like an exciting experience. So, and I recorded, I think my first like a tackle for loss or something like that, and it was just a great experience. Like it's like wow, like this feels like a movie. You feel like you're in a movie. And so fast forward to this season, I got a lot more playing time. It was a lot of I was held back, and it was an agreement that was made upon between like me and the coaching staff because of my head situation. I was still dealing with my head problems going into the season, so and it was they were managing it well. I was seeing doctors and everything like that, and it was agreed upon what kind of track I was on. So I played as I played as I felt comfortable, and as obviously great players in front of me, things like that. They bowled and did their things too. Not to take anything away from them, but they did their things. Nesta, Ford, Jordan Miller, Jared, top to bottom, we got a great room. Like Jalal, everybody's great. So they did their thing, and it was just like this season didn't count because of COVID. So it was just like there was no reason for me to kill myself this year, especially being so young. I redshirted last year. Just let's see how you get in and things like that. So when I did get in, I will be honest, I didn't feel comfortable on the field for the first time until probably that Duke game. By comfortable, I mean like when I'm on the field, it's kind of like I mean, like, all right, so what play is it? Okay, where do I gotta go? Okay, who do I have the ball? What formation is it? Where's it going? Like that's questions running through my head. It's all fast. So and you're not supposed to think too much. You're supposed to react more. It's more of a reactive sport. So I was just doing a lot of thinking. There's a lot of pressure that when you're on the field. But I think it was during the Duke game. Like I just felt comfortable. Like I felt like I was just playing football. Like it came more natural, so to speak. So, it was just a fun experience. Like being a Miami Hurricane is one of the best things you could probably be in this world. Like I promise. And it was very fun. I enjoyed every moment of it. It was hard, very hard. It was worth it. It was beautiful. It was exciting. It was everything good. And it was around great people. The coaching staff are a great set of guys, even guys that left and they're coming in. Like, if you come to Miami, I like the people that I'm around pretty much. And the fans are great. The city's beautiful. It's just a great experience as a whole. I love being a Miami. I still love being a Miami Hurricane, and I've loved every second of it.
And I think that's great. And kind of just wrapping things up, Jason, just once again, from the beginning, I've been wanting to talk to you about some things. And I think you did a great job once again, just telling your story. And I know, once again, you're going to be successful moving forward. I know you got a lot of people that are curious to see what you do next. I'm sure you'll be successful in doing that. So definitely want to stay in touch. Look forward to maybe picking your brain a little bit about some defensive things in the side of the football. But thanks again for joining the show. I definitely appreciate you, and best of luck, and stay up.
Thank you very much. It was great being here. Thank you.
All right, Jason.